You die, but there's no funeral, no casket, no burial. Instead, a van shows up minutes later. A team in white coats rushes in, packs your body in ice, and injects it with special antifreeze chemicals. You're declared legally dead, but not biologically gone. You're rushed into a chamber, lowered into liquid nitrogen, and frozen at minus 320 degrees Fahrenheit. From this moment, your second life begins, in theory. This is not science fiction. This is cryonics. And in 2025, it's more real than most people think. Over 500 people worldwide have already chosen to be cryopreserved. Another 4,000 are signed up, waiting for the moment they legally die so they can enter a steel tank full of liquid nitrogen. They're not hoping to escape death. They're hoping to delay it, to pause their bodies until medicine catches up, until the future figures out how to bring them back. The leading name in this field is Alcor Life Extension Foundation in Scottsdale, Arizona. As of today, they have frozen 243 individuals, including only their heads in some cases, and they have over 1,400 members signed up. A full-body preservation at Alcor costs around $200,000. Just the head? $80,000. Other companies include the Cryonics Institute in Michigan, with over 270 preserved individuals and more than 2,000 members. In Russia, a company called Cryonics offers similar services. And in Europe, a Berlin-based startup called Tomorrow Bio has recently entered the market, having preserved a handful of people so far. But here's the real question. Does cryonics work? The short answer is not yet. Not even close. To be clear, cryonics is not the same as being frozen alive. That would be fatal. The process begins only after legal death is declared. Anything else would be considered euthanasia or assisted suicide, which is illegal in most countries. Once death is pronounced, the cryonics team has only a short window of time, ideally less than 1 hour, to begin the preservation process. The body is packed in ice. Blood is replaced with cryoprotectant fluids designed to prevent ice crystal formation. Then the body is gradually cooled down to 196 degrees or 320.8 atmospheres and stored in a vacuum-sealed tank filled with liquid nitrogen. But here's the problem. Human biology doesn't freeze well. Not yet. Even with the use of cryoprotectants, ice crystals still form and can destroy delicate tissues. The human brain, with its billions of neural connections, is especially vulnerable. And even if physical structures could be preserved, memory and consciousness are more than just tissue. They're patterns. They're chemistry. They're the architecture of experience. And science has not figured out how to preserve or reconstruct those at scale. So why do people still do it? Because of the non-zero chance. Cryonics is not about guarantees. It's about buying a lottery ticket for the future. It's about betting that 50 or 100 years from now, medicine and technology will be able to not only cure the disease that killed you, but repair the freezing damage, restore your brain, and reboot your consciousness. It sounds insane, and maybe it is. But then again, a heart transplant would have sounded insane 200 years ago. So would in vitro fertilization, electric cars, or talking to an AI on your phone. Some researchers are optimistic. New advances in nanotechnology could, in theory, enable molecular repair of tissues. 3D bioprinting is already being used to grow simple organs in labs. Gene editing tools like CRISPR are rewriting the rules of biology. And chemical brain preservation techniques, such as aldehyde fixation, are being tested to keep neural structures intact at microscopic resolution. In other words, maybe we won't need to freeze the entire body. Maybe just preserving the brain, accurately and completely, could be enough. Someday, perhaps we could scan that brain and upload the mind into a new body, or even a digital environment. But that's not science fact. That's science speculation, and it comes with massive ethical questions. Let's say revival becomes possible. What happens to the person who wakes up 200 years from now? What legal rights do they have? Do they get their old property back? Are they even considered the same person under the law? Will society accept them? Or will they be an unwanted ghost from a forgotten era? Worse, what if revival fails? What if someone is brought back but suffers permanent brain damage or endless pain? What if they come back as something broken, incomplete, or unable to integrate into modern life? None of that is answered. Not even close. Still, cryonics continues to grow. People keep signing up. Most are not celebrities or billionaires. They're engineers, doctors, researchers, and people who believe death shouldn't be final if it doesn't have to be. They're not obsessed with immortality. They're obsessed with possibility. And possibility is what cryonics sells. Critics are everywhere. Many scientists have dismissed cryonics as pseudoscience or even fraud. The consensus is clear. No mammal has ever been cryopreserved and revived. The technology to reverse death does not exist, and likely won't for a very long time. And yet, there's something powerful about what cryonics represents, not as a guarantee, but as a philosophy. It challenges the assumption that death is absolute. It says, what if death is just a lack of better tools? What if future generations will look at our graves the way we look at bloodletting or leeches, as outdated, primitive responses to things we didn't understand? In the US, the legal status of cryonics is still murky. It's not regulated as medicine because it doesn't treat anything. It's not burial because the body isn't dead in the biological sense. It exists in legal gray zones classified as long-term experimental storage. Some states have tried to ban it, others quietly tolerate it. And nobody knows what will happen if, someday, one of those frozen bodies actually gets revived. So far, nobody has. No human has ever come back from cryopreservation. Not even close, but also none of them were supposed to. Yet, cryonics is about patience. It's about trusting a future you'll never see coming. It's about believing that science, which has already doubled the average human lifespan in the past century, might do something even crazier next. Will it work? No one knows. But here's what we do know. For the first time in history, death is not the end for some. For those who believe, it's just the beginning of a very long pause. Almost fiction. The future is already here.